What if I told you that deep in the heart of Africa, far from Silicon Valley and Tesla's billion-dollar labs, a self-taught Nigerian inventor just built his own Cybertruck from scratch? And yes, it looks so real, even Elon Musk couldn't believe it. This isn't science fiction. This is Nigerian innovation, raw, bold, and unstoppable. In a world obsessed with high-tech luxury, one man dared to dream big, with limited tools, minimal resources, and a whole lot of grit. Today, we dive into the incredible story behind Nigeria's homemade Cybertruck and the genius who built it. Meet Mubarak Lawal, a young innovator from Kaduna State, Nigeria. No formal engineering degree, no sponsorships, just a burning passion for automobiles and the courage to challenge the impossible. Inspired by Elon Musk's futuristic Cybertruck, Mubarak took to the scrapyards, not to collect trash, but to gather his tools of transformation. Old car parts, steel sheets, worn-out tires, nothing was wasted. Everything was reimagined. Working under a tin-roof garage, Mubarak's vision came to life piece by piece. He spent months designing, welding, painting, and engineering a vehicle that not only mimics Tesla's iconic design, but actually drives. Locals watched in awe. Social media exploded. And soon, the world was watching, including Elon Musk himself. When footage of the Nigerian Cybertruck hit the internet, it went viral. One tweet read, "Elon, you need to see this." Another said, "Africa doesn't need to copy. It innovates in its own way." While Musk hasn't officially commented yet, the buzz around this homemade marvel has put Mubarak in the global spotlight. This is more than a cool car story. It's a powerful message. It tells the world that talent knows no boundaries, that Africa is not waiting to be invited to the future. It's building it on its own terms. From the dusty streets of Kaduna to the digital streets of the internet, Mubarak's Cybertruck is more than a vehicle, it's a movement. A reminder that innovation thrives where there is passion, persistence, and purpose. So, what's next for Mubarak? Will Tesla call? Will investors step in? One thing is clear, this is only the beginning. Because when one dreamer builds the impossible, he inspires a generation to do the same. As Mubarak's Cybertruck made round across international news outlets, tech blogs, and YouTube channels, something extraordinary began to happen. Engineers, inventors, and even car enthusiasts from across the globe began reaching out. Offers of mentorship, funding, and collaboration started landing in his inbox. One European startup even proposed flying him out for a prototyping summit. Meanwhile, several African universities expressed interest in hosting him for guest lectures, despite the fact that he had never stepped foot in a formal engineering classroom. Empowered by the attention, Mubarak made a bold decision to officially launch his own auto tech startup. The goal? To build affordable electric utility vehicles for Africa's roads, using locally sourced parts and simplified designs that match the continent's realities. He called it NaijaVolt Motors, a name symbolizing homegrown innovation powered by electricity and resilience. His dream is no longer just a viral moment. It's now a mission to put Nigeria and Africa on the global EV map. But the road ahead isn't smooth. Mubarak still faces monumental challenges. Securing stable funding, battling import tariffs on batteries and motors, and overcoming skepticism from local markets still dominated by used petrol cars. Yet, in every interview, his message remains clear. If I can build one Cybertruck here, I can build a factory for 100 more. He doesn't just want to build vehicles. He wants to build confidence in the next generation of African makers. Rumors began swirling. Would Tesla partner with him? Could Elon Musk lend support to this young visionary who reimagined his creation with nothing but grit and genius? While nothing is confirmed yet, the story has sparked a new kind of conversation. One about collaboration instead of competition. About decentralized innovation, about Africa not waiting for help, but setting the pace. This story isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning. From Kaduna to California, the world is watching. And Mubarak, he's building. One weld at a time, one wheel at a time, one dream at a time. One quiet morning, as Mubarak adjusted suspension on a second prototype, his phone rang. It was an international number. At first, he thought it was another fan, maybe a journalist. But when he picked up, the voice on the other end left him frozen. "Hi, Mubarak. This is someone from Tesla's outreach team. Elon was really impressed by what you built." The team wanted to know more, not just about the Cybertruck replica, but about Mubarak's vision for sustainable transportation in Africa. They invited him to join a global panel of young innovators at a private tech summit, with Elon Musk himself as a keynote speaker. Passport in hand, Mubarak took his very first flight, from Nigeria to the United States. Cameras followed him to the airport, fans waved, and local media dubbed him Nigeria's Elon. At the summit, Mubarak wasn't just a guest. He was a star. When he finally met Elon face-to-face, there was no red carpet, no flashing lights, just a handshake between two builders. One with billions of dollars, the other with a billion-dollar dream. "I built what I saw in my mind. I believed Africa could make its own future, and I had to prove it." Elon listened, carefully. Then, unexpectedly, Musk leaned forward and asked Mubarak a question that silenced the room. "What if we brought Tesla's battery tech to Nigeria and built a pilot facility with you at the helm?" The proposal wasn't just a partnership. It was a revolution waiting to begin, one that could turn Africa from a consumer of tech into a creator of it. Mubarak returned to Nigeria not as a viral sensation, but as a leader on a mission, armed with connections, potential investors, and a Tesla-signed letter of interest. He began working with local engineers to establish West Africa's first grassroots EV innovation hub. He began training youths, hosting community build days, partnering with universities. His garage had turned into a movement, and a symbol of what's possible when belief meets action. 2 years later, Mubarak did the unthinkable. With a crowd of thousands gathered in Abuja and a live stream watched globally, he unveiled the first African-designed electric utility vehicle, the NaijaVolt 1, built for African roads, powered by sunlight, designed to last, and inspired by a Cybertruck dream born in a tin roof shed. With the NaijaVolt 1 now making headlines across Africa, the established auto giants began to take notice. Chinese EV manufacturers, European automakers, and even South African startups suddenly accelerated their efforts to dominate the continent's emerging electric vehicle market. Some saw Mubarak as a disruptor. Others saw him as a threat. Offers came pouring in, not to partner, but to buy him out. But Mubarak wasn't building NaijaVolt to sell. He was building it to serve. As investors grew impatient, Mubarak faced immense pressure from regulatory hurdles, limited power infrastructure, and rumors that some competitors were lobbying against him. Even worse, several key suppliers abruptly cut off parts deliveries, allegedly after being approached by rival manufacturers. For the first time, the NaijaVolt dream was at risk of stalling. But just when things looked bleak, help came from an unexpected place. From Kenya to Ghana, from Senegal to Rwanda, African innovators, entrepreneurs, and engineers rallied behind Mubarak. An online campaign with the hashtag #SupportNaijaVolt went viral. African battery startups offered support. Solar firms offered free panels. Even school children held rallies calling him the Tesla of Africa. Months later, NaijaVolt shocked the industry again by shipping its first export unit to Namibia, then another to Gabon, then to Zambia, Ethiopia, and even the UAE. Built in Africa, sold from Africa to the world. Mubarak had gone from welding frames in a backyard to running a company driving a new kind of independence across an entire continent. Not stopping at vehicles, Mubarak launched NaijaVolt Labs, an R&D division focused on African solutions, modular solar batteries, affordable electric bikes for rural farmers, and even smart traffic systems tailored for African cities. And in 2027, he unveiled a bold new blueprint, the African Electric Grid Alliance, a coalition aiming to connect remote communities to renewable energy using low-cost solar stations and NaijaVolt battery packs. The boy who once built a Cybertruck from scrap was now powering villages that had been in the dark for generations. At the United Nations Clean Tech Summit in Geneva, Mubarak stood alongside world leaders, not as a guest, but as a keynote speaker. His words echoed through the halls. Africa doesn't need to wait for the future. We're already driving it. And this time, even Elon Musk sat in the front row, smiling, watching a legacy he helped spark evolve into something far greater than he imagined. Years passed. Mubarak's name became synonymous with innovation, resilience, and African pride. NaijaVolt wasn't just a company anymore. It was a symbol, a movement, a spark that ignited imaginations of millions. Across the continent, schools began introducing Mubarak innovation labs, makerspaces where young minds could build robots, code, and design future vehicles. His life story became a case study at MIT, Harvard, and the University of Lagos. One quiet evening, Mubarak returned to the same shed in Kaduna where it all began. The tin roof still rusted. The old tools still hung on the wall. The very same workbench where sparks once flew, now silent. But beside it sat the first ever NaijaVolt Cybertruck, preserved, polished, and placed behind glass. A reminder of what's possible when dreams are welded with purpose. He didn't just build a car. He built belief. He proved to the world, and to every African child watching, that you don't need $1 billion to build the future. You only need to believe that it's possible. From scrap metal to a seat at the world stage, from doubted to decorated, Mubarak Lawal's journey wasn't just extraordinary. It was necessary. Because sometimes the most powerful machines aren't built in labs. They're built in the hearts of the fearless. And in one dusty garage in Nigeria, a revolution was born.